So, let's start this off. Deathlamau, would you please ready up?
3, 2, 1.
Alright, so for now, Death, you're gonna wait and spawn. You can play any class except for Scout, please. Also, don't run anything that can cap quickly. But, this is first defense, basically. You're gonna want to set your telly here, not here. And I'll explain why as the map review goes on. But, you guys roll out as quickly as possible. This is a fast route, but if you can get in through house if you're a soldier or a demo, that's faster for you. But anyway, basically get here. Suicides for NG will be around this area that I'm standing in right now. By the way, this is Millstone UGC 7, so it's a little bit different from last season's version. Yeah. Anyway, so NG sets up his sentry somewhere in this area. Now, we're gonna have to experiment a bit to make it work, because depending on what team we're against and depending on how we end up playing this first hold, sentry might be in a few different places. And I remember the sentry would go down pretty quickly when we held this. So when it's a first hold, this isn't the important part. This frontal part, not that important. The important part is back here to get the sentry on this ledge. The sentry has to get on this ledge once it goes down up there, and if you can't keep it up there, you might as well just start on that ledge to start with. And if the NG does decide to start on that ledge, just call it and we'll suicide over there instead of up here for you, okay? Now, a few things about this first hold that everyone should know. Death, you can start standing on the cart. But a few things about this first holds that everyone should know is that up there, very good for soldiers. However, it can be easily spammed by the demo. But if you look at the spawn that blue has on first, they're basically coming out on any of the sides they come out. They can easily be spawn camped. Basically, this little nook right here, easily spammed out by a soldier and a demo man, so standing on those crates is super effective. The only thing is you're gonna get lit really fast because the demo's gonna spam you off those crates. There's no fucking way he won't unless he's literally brain dead. So, make sure you're spamming the soldier up there if he's up there. Demos, it's basically just the demo can get that. Or soldier if you can jump up there, but then you'll have to jump into an opponent that's already above you when you're getting out of spawn. But if you're defending this, make sure you take advantage of that area. Now, this ledge up here, they haven't changed it, I don't think. I think you can get up there, but I'm holding the push stock so I can't crouch jump. But by crouch jumping, you can get up there as a scout and several other classes, obviously. Cap the first point and then stop there, Death, please. But anyway, cap the first point, though. But anyway, as I was going to say is, classes can stand up there, and that makes for a good ambush. All of these spawns, of course, make for good sticky traps, but not... especially this spawn, because this is the only spawn that you walk out of this side where the other team can't see the sticks, whereas if you put sticks on this wall or on this wall, depending on what they're coming out of, they can see them. That's a good tip, by the way, for teams. You might as well just check to see if there are sticks from this side and from the other side, and then whichever side doesn't have the sticks you can go through, or if all sides have sticks, then at least you have a place to shoot them from, right? Anyway, after getting out of spawn is the hardest part about first point for the offensive team. After that, it's basically a roll through this area because it's hard, like really hard to hold this place. So if you guys can keep them in spawn as a defensive team, great. If you can't, back off a bit. Because you will regret it if you don't back off too soon. You're going to lose all your players. And as usual on payload maps, what ends up happening is the defensive team spawns slower than the offensive team. So to reiterate, the changes from last season that I'm implementing for us on first point is that this first hold way up here isn't as hard of a hold. Basically, we're trying to keep them in spawn for as long as possible, but once they're out, don't die for picks. Rather, go ahead and back off a bit and get ready to hold the next area. This room can be held by flank pretty well, usually. The only problem is the soldier's going to be spamming down on you guys, so keep that in mind. And use the geometry to your advantage if you can. If not, of course, we'll have our NG up here, and our combo will be down here watching this entire choke area. So the combo, this is the real first hold, is in this choke area. Combo does not allow anyone to get through this area at all. The sentry is going to be right behind him. The flank is going to be near the engineer and the sentry. They can jump up into there. The scout can get up in here easily with the double jump, and the soldier, of course, can as well. And flank, on defense at least, you guys can go ahead and play for the picks, and I don't mean suicide blindly into them, but if their combo is starting to push in, they're going to push in through this choke point. They're going to be right in front of you guys. So being that you guys are right above them at any given point, you can jump down onto the combo. Now, the danger happens when the combo decides to climb up here. If the combo decides to climb up here, then that's a problem because they're going to try and push the sentry directly from the side. If that happens, flank has to call that and make an urgent call and make sure that the engineer can back off his sentry from up there and probably put it somewhere a little more passive, like back here, maybe his dispenser in this barrel. You can still hold the first point if the combo decides to rotate. The problem is you can't hold this house, because if combo rotates, they're just going to drop down on you from this house, and you're gonna all die. So keep that in mind. That's a very important call. But otherwise, your combo can hold this pretty well. And if your combo sees their combo rotate through house, another thing you can do if their combo doesn't have and your combo doesn't is rotate around into this house and stop them as a combo. So you have a couple of options. Just make sure your engineer doesn't die and your sentry doesn't die, because it will be a real bitch later on. Alright, so let's say they're taking too much ground. You guys are on the ropes. You lost a player or two. You want to back off. So you need to stuff your flank into this building. This building is your flank's building. For once, or for the first time I should say, the flank has the high ground when watching this area. And the flank can also... Well, here's the problem. Right here. The scout can't get in through this side.
Jump.
I mean, he could basher jump and do it.
Crouch jump, crouch.
Crouch jump, crouch doesn't work. But basher jump could work. I mean, experiment with that, whatever you have to do. But
Winger.
yeah, winger. I mean, try it out. Once this is done, go ahead and try it out. Death, you can go ahead and start capping the point until second.
Heavy winger.
Anyway. Basically, scout and soldier can watch this building pretty well, and at the point in which the cart gets to about here, where this shack in this wooden area is, the scout can start spamming down on the combo from that window, and that's extremely effective as well. Also, the scout can deny a major spy route, or not the scout, but rather the combo can deny, or rather the flank can deny a major flank route, but just by being in this building. And they have a small health pack and a small ammo pack. So you have a lot of options as a flank in this area. That's a bit of a change from before, where the flank would be holding in that building still. Last season, I just felt like too many teams were jumping down from this building onto us, and it wasn't going well for us. That being said, when you're pushing second, it's smart to move your combo in from up in that window. Now, of course, there's a shutter right there, which makes it hard to spam out directly from it, right? And it's a one-way shutter. So you can open it from the other way, but not from this direction, which means that if you're pushing out of here, combo, you better have an Uber or be ready to commit, because there's no going back through here. Just keep that in mind. But anyway, this is a very good option for pushing as a combo, because it puts you right in front of the sentry, and it puts you right in front of their combo, who should be standing there, or even back here. You might be behind their combo, which would also put you at an advantage. The important things to remember when pushing on this are that you have to pinch. If you don't pinch, you're probably not going to have an effective push. So if you're pushing, your flank's goal first is to try and get this house. If your flank gets this house, then that's great, because that opens you up to that window, and that opens you up to drop down here and go around. This is a pretty good area. Also, your combo can decide to go through the house if they wish. Whatever ends up happening there, you should have one part of your team coming in through this area, or through even far this way, If you can get in through this way, this is very effective. This is even more effective. Usually a flank will be watching here or a pyro, but if you can get in through this way, you get in behind their team all the way back here, and basically you get second for free. But yeah, the point is you have to have like part of your team coming in from this way, and then part of your team either coming in straight from this choke or from the upper one way. Okay, the reason you have to pinch on this map is because at pretty much every entrance and every exit on every point of this, Pliss can push a talk on now. Anyway, pretty much every entrance and every exit on every point of this map is a choke. So if you're not pinching, basically just a little bit of spam is going to take your team out. Alright, so at this point, you've capped this point. And once you cap this point, the defensive spawn moves back. So I'm going to kill myself and go ahead and go there. And you'll see where defense is. Notice how long the respawn is also for defense. It only showed 4 seconds, but it took a while for the server to actually show me the countdown timer. So that was probably more like an 8 to 10 second respawn. Either way, as soon as the other team caps second, red team spawns all the way back at last, which is actually a ridiculous penalty. So if blue team is even coming close to capping second, or even halfway to capping second, don't die. No matter what you do, stay alive. In fact, try and back off a little bit if you see the cart inching that, or if you think your team's going to lose it. Just don't die, because you want to hold the next area. It's probably the most effective hold in the entire map. Okay, Death, you can start capping that. Okay, so here's some things about this push and this hold. Oh, I didn't even mention the sentry. Sentry, there's a lot of good spots. Up on those these wooden planks here is a really good place that I saw used a lot last season. On this house is good if you can avoid spam well. Even up here is good if your combo's watching. Also, another point is your combo shouldn't be watching too far forward, because if they do, their combo's gonna drop down on you. Your combo should be kinda back here, or if you want, you can divide the attention of your demo to up there, and then have the rest of your combo watching this choke. That works quite effectively, especially if you have a sentry maybe on these planks. Then you have basically everyone watching, and your flank doesn't have to worry about getting pushed back. They can just go ahead and take as much ground as they need through the flank route. Anyway, what Death already captured, and what I was about to talk about, is this right here. This is very, very steep, and it's actually a lot more ground than you think, and it takes a lot of time to push the cart above that. So when you're defending this next point here, this room is very important to not lose. This is another one-way. It only opens into here, which means that you can get spammed out very easily in here. Also, this drop down here, well, that's another story. That's if anyone gets behind you. If anyone gets behind you, they can spam you from down here. So down here, this drop down leads to the next point that the team has to capture. As you can see, the cart's right there. But anyway, let's pretend they didn't capture yet. Okay, then this drop down would be closed. Team hasn't captured this cart yet. So you want to keep them from getting this ramp. And some good classes to do that would be the heavy, and the demo, basically. Those are basically it. The sniper, you should be watching a very long angle here, just because you can, A, and B, because things get dicey really quick when you're pushing this ramp for some reason. I think it's because their spawns, like your spawn is just so much further away once they cap second, that their team is going to be up here way faster than you. So, as soon as they cap second, NG, teleporters are a must. But that's besides the point. What I was saying is this ramp here, yeah, heavy, demo, soldier. Soldier can do a lot on this ramp, but someone has to be watching it at least until it's like capped, because once it's capped, then they're basically gonna have like all the free reign to get into you. They're gonna have this area, and they're gonna have straight into you. However, the plus side about this point is that there's no other entrances. So, oh, I actually fell there. If you just watch back here, make sure to watch there and make sure to watch there. You should never die because there's no other way to get over here. It's really either up that ramp or through this window. So you have to watch this area. You have to, because once they take the ground and they cap this point, they can start peeking you from this window, which will make your next hold that much harder. Now, the next hold is something, it's a bit of a legend. This is pretty much the longest hold on this map if a team can pull it off. First thing to note is that these grates do not protect you from blast damage. So if someone goes under here and puts stickies there and the medic stands on it, they will die. Also, this hole, people can drop down through there, so you need to be wary of that. But basically, once the team caps this point, then they have a lot of options to flank around. Some of them are going to try and drop down. Some of them are going to try and peek from this shutter here and maybe snipe your sentry. And others are going to just try to push with the cart. But either way, Sniper can watch this hallway quite effectively. It works really well for him. Somebody should always have an eye. Death, you can start capping. Somebody should always have an eye on this drop down to see if anyone drops down, because if they do, that can be a big pain in the ass. Engineer typically puts a sentry right there. Now, why is this a problem? Because if the soldier drops down, he can literally jump up here and spam the sentry from up there. Or soldier, demo, anyone with explosives. The scout can even get up here, as you can see. It doesn't take that much effort, and they're right next to your sentry. So don't leave your NG alone here. Have maybe your soldier watching this area, making sure no one comes through drop down. Also, this shutter right here hasn't opened yet. Notice that it will open once Death Lamau caps this cart. But anyway, this point is very good for defending. Demo can spam this area very well. Heavy can shoot this area down very well. Sniper can watch this hallway very well. And Soldier and Scout can watch the drop down area on their own pretty well. Alright, so Death Lamau has just capped the next point, and the map changes once again. I think that blue spawn gets closer. But anyway, this door opened and it's another one-way. So basically the map throughout encourages blue team to push. So if you're on blue team, go ahead and push. You have the right of way. Everything opens up for you as you cap things. So go ahead and be a little aggressive. Don't be too afraid. As usual. However, you just need to be careful when moving through choke points. So by choke points, I mean, like here, going up this ramp, as you're pushing that cart up, there's a lot of areas where you can get spammed out. So you need to be wary. You need to be careful. Also on first, when you're pushing through that main choke, you need to be careful there. If it's a choke point, just exercise extra caution, but don't stop the momentum. That could be the worst thing that you can do, because one level 3 sentry anywhere in the spots that I mentioned, and essentially the game is over for blue team. It's very hard to get out of that unless the team is literally just not standing in the right places. Anyway, you capped that point down there, or yeah, rather right there. You cap that point, and what happens? These open up, so it's no longer viable for the flank to really stay here. Well, it's not viable for the flank to stay here for long if their combo's coming in, or if more than their flank is coming in. If it's just their flank coming in through this one way, then one, that team is probably stupid, and two, this, you can defend it very easily from here. So flank, just keep defending if it's just their flank coming in through here. But what I'm going to recommend we do in our push through last is actually just bring our combo through these gates. Because if our combo comes out through these gates, the cart will literally be right here for us to drop down on. Or, in the event the cart is a little further, we can choose to go out the top. So, let me climb to the top. Excuse me, Death. So the combo can just drop down from up here if if the cart is a little bit further, and that's good as well. Of course, the combo can still go around, but to me, that just seems like wasted space of the map. This entire area is essentially useless after you get another spawn. However, from down here, there is a flank route. So if your combo's having trouble... Oh, shit, what the fuck? Well, there you go. I thought it was a flank route. It's not. I guess they changed that. It used to be.
I think, no. What happens is the rock explodes at some point. I forget when. Like once you push the cart to a certain point, I think the cart.
Well, the cart's already at last though.
No. Like,
Well,
no,
okay,
no,
we'll see what happens. Either way,
just yeah.
Death, stand on the cart for a bit. Don't cap it yet. Oh, Death's not here. Death! Thank you, Pliskin.
That you fool.
Death, you fool, yes. But anyway, oh, what the fuck? Wait, how'd you do that?
He just moved towards it.
Did it
all
just
good.
happen by itself?
On the button.
Yeah, he just spawned, he went towards it, and exploded.
You are on push to talk, by the way. Anyway, push the cart, Pliskin.
On the cart. Push the cart.
Okay, let Death do it. He's slower. Pliskin, get off. Death's slower.
Wait, no, we can't.
Stop! Death is slower. Stop. I want more time. Or yeah, you need to keep overtime. That's right. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Don't cap it.
as I was saying, yeah, don't cap the cart, but keep the overtime going just so we can finish this off. Either way, that rock explodes, as you can see. So it is a flank route, and that can be very useful for the combo or for the flank. If the cart's up here, you might as well go through there. Also, this area from this shutter, the sniper can snipe offensively very well. Now, defending this point is kind of a tricky thing. I love to watch this area up here, but it looks like they made this taller and more open, so it's not as much of a choke as it used to be. It used to be a lot closer together, and I remember this entrance being a lot smaller. So I'm anticipating that they did the change so that it would no longer be as much of a choke. In that case, we'll go ahead and experiment with watching this area still as a combo, but it might not be viable anymore. So we might have to, as a defense, we might have to stand all the way at the back defensively. Combo, just don't die. That's the big thing. But you guys can be all the way up near this house and still spam very effectively. This is a choke, that's a choke, that's a choke. There's basically 3 chokes right in front of you, and unless their team is getting behind you guys, there shouldn't be a problem. If the team is getting behind you guys, however, that's something that you can call immediately, and you should call immediately, because there is a drop down back here. But as soon as they're back here, the problem with that is that they're out in the open, they're by all these cliffs, and by the time they get to where they can do damage to you, you're probably going to notice them and be able to react. Pyro can be extremely effective in watching these cliffs just by blasting people off. I've seen it happen all last season. People get blasted off all the time. So have your Pyro at the ready to do his thing, and basically you just hold as hard as you can. The flank is going to do their flank thing. Soldier can jump up through here and stop them before even getting close to you. Scout, of course, can still watch this area if he wants, but really, the big thing about last for the flank isn't really necessarily holding a specific area, it's more staying alive and getting frags. So if you can get a pick, if someone overextends and you're a scout and you see, oh, that fucker's overextending, you can just take him out, and then you've done a service to your team. And if you die, that is okay, because you're right next to the cap and you killed someone. However, if you try and go for picks and you suicide in and you die and they don't die, that's very bad. This is the only point, pretty much, on any payload map where I advocate for the flank to go ahead and get picks and like trade 1 for 1. Usually I wouldn't advocate that just because of how much slower defensive spawns are, but you guys are going to have a really hard time finding a place to defend once they push past that point over there in that house. Yeah, you guys are going to have a really hard time defending, so you should find ways to punish people on the map. Are there any questions? Everything should be pretty clear. You can go ahead and cap. Alright. And there you go. Average times on this map range anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. A short time on this map would probably be about 7 minutes. I believe the slowest time you can get the card in is about 6:40. So,
Or 22 minutes and 43 seconds, as we've demonstrated.
yeah, I mean, we've demonstrated an extremely long time, but yeah, the times on this map are pretty long for a payload map.
Borneo.
So keep that in mind. It's kind of like Borneo, but sometimes it can play even longer. The only reason it doesn't play longer is because this map is actually pretty hard for the defensive team, as you saw by all the spawning one-ways as we kept capturing points. The map is just better for offense. So keep that in mind when you're playing offense. Be careful when you're playing defense. And I think, since no one had any questions, that's the end of the map review. Thank you all. Oh, wait, there's questions?
Five.
Wait, what?
No, I have a question.
What's your question?
Alright, so, when we're pushing,
Yep.
where would combo usually leave out of, like, which gate?
So like I said, Soldier's probably going to be up there. There's probably going to be a sticky trap somewhere. If there's going to be a sticky trap, I'm willing to bet it's going to be out of this gate. So just be careful if you do decide to go out of this gate, and watch for the scout who loves to stand up on that ledge above spawn that I mentioned. But really, combo, you should just leave out of the spawn that is gonna kill you least, if that makes any sense. The spawn is basically easily spawn camped on first. But once you're out of spawn, like, push them all the way back until you get to this choke at least, because pretty much you have it for free once you're out of spawn. Any other questions? Alright, I guess that's it. So, that's the end of the map review. Thanks you guys for showing up. If you need to rewatch any of that, this is recorded and it will be uploaded onto my channel, so you guys can watch that. We can go over what we'll do as callouts. Yeah, I guess we'll do that now.
Everything is sports. You're welcome.
Everything's sports. Got it.